everyone. As the election of 1904 fast approaches, can you each introduce the candidates you are supporting and why you are supporting them?
I am representing Theodore Roosevelt as the Liberal. A little information on him is that he was homeschooled by tutors and his parents. Then he later went on to Columbia Law School. But when he figured out he wanted to be governing and being in politics, he actually dropped out.
I represent Alton B. Parker, the conservative Democrat nominee. He practiced law in Kingston, New York throughout college and throughout his early life. After that, he became part of the New York Supreme Court, and then he subsequently served as Chief Justice of the New York Court of Appeals between 1898 and 1904. He is very well educated and is known for researching every case that was brought to him. He's also known for his pro-labor and as well as social reform legislature.
Well, thank you both for that very insightful information. So first major question is for Judge Parker. What are your views when it comes to government regulation of monopolies and trusts?
My candidate Parker is strongly against the monopolization of the economy by big business because of how it abuses people. He believes that the common law and the people should decide what is wrong and what is right for the society, and he believes that through the people, the economy will grow and that big business and monopolies will eventually deteriorate and will be phased out of existence.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Now, Mr. Roosevelt, what is Mr. Roosevelt's view on the same issue that Judge Parker just discussed?
So Roosevelt, he believes that if anyone shall try to commit or be part of a monopoly, that they should be tried or they should be guilty of a felony. And the funny thing is that he doesn't even want to dismantle them. He wants to regulate them, but there's no strong way to enforce these, so he has to dismantle it, or he'll lose his political reputation for being the big guy with reform.
Judge Parker has heavily argued in favor of the gold standard in his acceptance letter for the nomination. Why is this?
So why does Parker support the gold standard? Well, at first, the Democratic Party platform omitted it, and while Parker strongly advocated for the gold standard, he even sent a telegram to the convention where he said that if they wouldn't allow him to speak for the gold standard, that he would not accept his nomination for presidency. That just shows how dedicated he is to the gold standard. Parker believes that the gold standard is deeply rooted and irrevocably placed into American society, and that to get rid of it is just impossible.
Could you please explain Mr. Roosevelt's view on the environment and conservation efforts that he has undertaken as president?
Well, ever since when Theodore was just a young child, he really enjoyed the outdoors, and he was very interested in geography. So once he became president in his first term, he made sure he did everything he could do to preserve the environment. One of the things that he did was he preserved about 150 national forests, and he wanted to make sure the habitats were strong enough to keep the wildlife alive for as long as possible.
Recently, under Mr. Roosevelt, the United States has pursued a much more aggressive foreign policy. What is your candidate's views on this? Would they continue this? Would they stop this? Would they go even more extreme?
So in regards to America's increasing foreign policy, Parker condemns the imperialism of the Philippines by Republican rule. He believes that the Philippines should be set free from American rule and that they should be independent and free for themselves. Parker also believes that the Panama Canal should be constructed. He believes that it will produce economic prosperity in that region, as well as providing more economic opportunities for America.
Theodore Roosevelt he believed that the United States should stay isolated from other foreign countries, and he doesn't want to get involved because he believes the United States shouldn't get involved in things that we had no control of, and we don't want to put our country and the lives of the Americans in danger.
One last major issue the U.S. has been facing over the past almost 50 years has that been that of immigration. How will your candidate help to solve some of the issues facing this nation on those?
Alton Parker is all for America. He's all for American labor. That's what we should be focusing on, not immigrants. We should be focusing on the American dream, American labor, and America.
Mr. Roosevelt believes that any person from outside of the United States that wants to be an American, they have every right to be an American. And if other Americans are discriminating them just from their birthplace or their race or anything like that, then that's just cruel and it's not right. But there is only room for being an American. So there's only enough room for one flag and one language, and that's the American flag and the English language.
Well, thank you all very much for those very insightful and interesting answers to the questions. That is all we have for today. Thank you.
How do you feel about monopolies in big business?
I feel like big businesses should be regulated by the federal government since they hire people like me at low wages. I think Roosevelt would be a good choice to help regulate the big businesses.
And for the second question, does your workplace provide any benefits?
The company I work for does not provide any workers' rights. All I do is work 9 hours a day and go home. I hope that when Theodore Roosevelt is elected president, he will fight for workers' rights.
Action! Yeah.
Allie,
Alton Parker is all for America. He's for the American.
Action.
I forgot what I was going to say. Alright. The grasslands, he ended up making over 150.
And do you have a problem with my accent, Henry? Do you want to come over and fight me? I will 1v1 you on Smash Bros. Do you want to fight? I will smack you with Yoshi. Henry, are you listening to me? I'm listening. I will fight you right now.